77 WABC and Bergen Newbridge Medical Center honor the life of legendary broadcaster and our friend, Ernie Anastas.
Hi, it's Ernie Anastas. You know, your thoughts can affect how you feel. Bergen Newbridge Medical Center is the largest hospital in New Jersey, providing comprehensive, equitable, compassionate, and high-quality emergency inpatient and outpatient medical care, plus mental health services and substance use disorder treatment. The Bergen Newbridge team can address your total health needs in one convenient location. Call 201-225-7130 for an appointment or newbridgehealth.org.
Well, we could be getting peace in our time, maybe in one of the most deadly wars we've seen in recent years in the world. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Saturday, just yesterday, hinted that the Ukraine war could soon end. He was speaking to reporters after the Russia Victory Day parade. That's the parade they hold every year to commemorate the victory over Nazi Germany in World War II. Putin said, quote, "I think that the matter is coming to an end," when he was talking about the war. Now, this comes on what was the first of a 3-day ceasefire brokered by President Trump that also included 1,000 POWs being transferred each. So 1,000 Ukrainian POWs being returned back to Ukraine, 1,000 Russian POWs being transferred back to Russia. A lot of people believe that there were a couple of other signs during that parade that maybe things are winding down. Vladimir Putin started to talk a little bit more in past tense, a little bit using that kind of phrasing when he was talking about what he claimed to be was a NATO war of aggression against Russia, but he used the term was. So we'll have to see if maybe something good is about to come. Again, that has been a very deadly war. A lot of different estimates about how many people have died total. President Trump often uses the word 1 million dead total, but certainly several 100,000 dead in that war that began in early 2022. Now let's get to the other war that's going on, the ceasefire, which is still holding for the most part between the U.S., Israel, and Iran. We are still waiting. Yes, we were expecting something Friday night. No, this is not a rerun. We were expecting something Friday night, but here we are Sunday morning, 5:03 a.m. New York time, still expecting some kind of answer from Iran to the United States' latest peace terms. And right now, still nothing really from Iran. And again, nothing reported either, not in the Middle Eastern news media, not in the U.S. news media. President Trump talked to reporters about this, how he might be running out of patience. I apologize for the helicopter noise behind this comment, but you should be able to make it out. Listen to this.
We go a different route as everything gets to get signed up and buttoned up. We were asked not to do that by Pakistan, who's our friend, and didn't want to sign anything to deal market. But I think Project Freedom is good, but I think we have other ways of doing it also. We may go back to Project Freedom if things don't happen, but should it be Project Freedom Plus, meaning Project Freedom plus other things?
So President Trump saying that he was talking about Project Freedom there, that if they don't get the response from Iran, they will more forcibly use the U.S. Navy in the Strait of Hormuz to escort ships through the strait. And, of course, he also said that bombing could get a lot more serious in the coming days if Iran does not comply with the peace terms that the United States has offered them. Iran, however, may not be doing any shooting over the last day and a half, but they have been shooting off their mouth. The IRGC Navy is threatening to hit U.S. targets in the region if any more of their oil tankers come under fire. The U.S. hit 2 Iranian-flagged oil tankers on Friday that were trying to break the U.S. blockade. So now the IRGC is threatening to hit U.S. ships and U.S. bases in the region if that happens again. That's one threat. And the other threat is that they are basically saying that any country that cooperates with the United States with Project Freedom, and we just learned that the British are willing to send perhaps one of their naval ships into the region to help with that project, that they too will be targeted. That's what's going on from the mouths of the IRGC leaders right now. Again, no response to the actual peace terms that the United States has offered Iran, but threats from the IRGC. That's par for the course. Now, all this is going on while Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, and the President's Special Envoy, Steve Witkoff, met with the Qatari Prime Minister in Miami. Now, that was on Saturday to discuss the peace situation with Iran. Qatar is apparently acting much more like a mediator than usual. They've often been a mediator for Iran, but in some of the recent talks lately, Pakistan was playing that role as well. It looks like Qatar is getting more involved in that. So, and of course, this was after the Qatari prime minister met with Vice President J.D. Vance on Friday at the White House. Now, getting back to Russia and Russia's connection to the Iran war, there are a number of reports that have just surfaced that Russia has been supplying Iran with deadly drones, and the way that they're doing it to get around the blockade in the Strait of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf is to use the Caspian Sea as a route to get those weapons to Iran. This is according to a number of U.S. officials have told this to a number of news sources and newspapers across the world. Now, if these shipments continue, because apparently these shipments from Russia are quite brisk, Iran could restock its drone arsenal that has been badly depleted by U.S. and Israeli attacks since the beginning of the war. This, of course, could be a problematic third angle of this war right now. No one has been talking about the Caspian Sea route to Iran, at least not lately. So that is another part of this situation. Now, of course, Iran has been also attacking many of its Arab neighbors in the region. That includes Bahrain. And Bahrain is now responding, not with an attack against Iran, but Bahrain's interior ministry says it has arrested 41 people linked to the IRGC. That's the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, their terrorist army. 41 people arrested, and we'll see if they deport them or if they just keep them in the country. Now, in the situation with Israel and Lebanon, first of all, there's some good news there. The U.S. is going to hold a third round of talks between the leaders of Israel and Lebanon here in Washington, here in the United States in Washington, later this week, actually May 14th. So that'll be on Thursday that we'll have those latest talks. But before then, you should know that there was a massive amount of fighting between Israel and Hezbollah over the last couple of days. Many, many targets, up to 85 targets, according to the Israeli Defense Forces, that they hit Hezbollah targets inside of Lebanon. Also, there was an attack on 4 cars on a highway in Beirut, clearly a specific targeted assassination, probably of Hezbollah leaders, although Israel's not commenting about the details there. Those hits were in a highway just south of Beirut, about 70 kilometers north of Israel's border. Israel had 3 of its reservists wounded, and one of them was seriously in a Hezbollah counterattack during those attacks over the last couple of days. One last note from the Middle East, and this is an interesting one, a really quite fascinating one. It turns out that Israel was able to build and operate a secret base without anybody knowing it in the deserts of Iraq that it used as a launching zone and also refueling zone and resupply zone for its attacks on Iran. At one point in March, that base was almost discovered, but the Israelis were able to kill a scouting militia that was finding that base in the first place. And Iraqi state media says that a local shepherd did report seeing that base, and that's how the story got out. But a fascinating case of a quick pop-up military base in the middle of nowhere, and the Israelis were able to pick that up.
Roger Stone here. Every day you wait, your money loses value, but gold and silver don't follow those same rules. American Sovereign Bullion gives you access to a nationwide wholesaler network, helping you secure aggressive pricing on real physical metals. Call 844-272-2428 now to get your free gold and silver guide to learn how to protect your wealth with physical gold and silver, delivered right to your door or with a gold IRA. Visit asbgold.com. That's asbgold.com for your free gold and silver guide today.